Welcome to The Explainer. You know the stats, right? The 40-yard dash, the vertical leap, the GPA. But what if you could see something deeper? Today, we're diving into a technology that claims it can look past the numbers and right into an athlete's mind.
I mean, you've seen it happen. A player looks incredible on paper, a total superstar. But then, the game's on the line. What's actually going on inside their head? What's really driving them when the pressure is on?
And who's the one that steps up when everything goes sideways? You know, when the X's and O's, the whole game plan just completely falls apart? Who has that mental grit to adapt, to lead, and to pull out a win? Yeah, these are the kinds of questions that keep coaches staring at the ceiling all night.
And here's the thing. Traditional scouting, for all its strengths, has this huge blind spot. It's fantastic at measuring the physical stuff, but when it comes to measuring the mind, that's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so let's start right there. Let's go beyond the flashy highlight reels and really dig into what traditional scouting might be missing. What's so telling here is the split. On one side, you have all the stuff we can easily measure. Stats, speed, grades, you name it. It's concrete. But on the other side, that's the invisible stuff. The mental makeup, how they handle setbacks, their emotional resilience. You know, the things that often make the real difference between just being good and being truly great.
That really gets to the heart of the issue, doesn't it? The mental game. It's arguably the single biggest blind spot in the entire world of sports. You know, the great Yogi Berra absolutely nailed it with this one. It's such a classic quote for a reason. It's just so true. Think about it. At the highest levels, everyone is a physical specimen. The real game changer, it's what's happening upstairs. So, trying to get a handle on an athlete's mind, that's not just some small piece of the puzzle. It is one of the single biggest challenges that coaches and scouts are up against. Okay, so how do you even begin to tackle a challenge like that? Well, let's talk about the proposed solution. A new way to, you could say, decode the athlete's mind. It's a technology called personality recognition. And the easiest way to think about it is like this. You know how facial recognition identifies who you are? Well, this technology tries to figure out what kind of person you are, all by building a psychological profile from your facial features. And how it works is surprisingly straightforward. Step 1, a quick facial snapshot. Step 2, a sophisticated AI, a neural network, crunches all that facial data. And then, Step 3, it spits out what they claim is an unbiased personality report. And we're not talking about just a simple picture here. The level of detail is, well, it's pretty mind-boggling. A single snapshot captures over 4,000 different facial points. And then all of that information gets blasted through this massive neural network. We're talking 1.9 times billion data points analyzed in just seconds. I mean, the sheer scale and speed of that is just staggering.
Now, this isn't just the AI making things up. The whole analysis is supposedly built on a foundation of established psychological models. You've got things like the big 5 personality traits, ocean, openness, conscientiousness, and so on. The idea is to give it a real scientific underpinning.
So after all that complex analysis, what do you actually get? Well, it all boils down to 3 different types of insight reports.
First up, you have the player profile. This is really the foundation of the whole thing, a deep dive into the individual.
This profile is designed to map out those core psychological traits that really matter on the field or on the court. Things like adaptability and ambition, competitiveness, discipline, leadership, resilience, all of it. It's basically trying to create a blueprint of the person behind the jersey.
All right, next we've got the sport-specific benchmarking report. And this is where it gets really interesting, because now we're talking about comparisons. How does this athlete stack up against known profiles?
So for a coach, this report aims to answer those really tough questions. Does this person have the right mental makeup to be a quarterback? How does their profile compare to the pros in that position? The whole point is to use that data to create personalized development plans and, just as importantly, put players in a position to actually succeed.
And last but not least, there's the program report. This is where we zoom way out from the individual player and get that 30,000-foot view of the entire team.
This report is all about the group dynamic. It looks at how all these different personalities might mesh or clash to create team chemistry. It tries to spot leadership dynamics and, crucially, helps figure out if a new recruit is actually going to be a good fit for the culture you're trying to build.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, right? Using all these insights to build winning teams. And this quote from Coach just sums it up perfectly.
Smart recruiting starts with knowing who you're bringing into your program, not just as a player, but as a person. And when you know that, you can start customizing their development from the moment they step on campus.
And then you have this coach from who really drives home the strategic edge this could offer. It's not just about the numbers anymore. It's about getting a deep understanding of how your athletes think, how they connect with each other, and ultimately, how they lead.
So, where is all this heading? What does it mean for the future? Let's wrap things up by looking ahead.
The promise here is actually pretty simple, but it's really powerful. The idea is that by understanding the person, you can elevate the athlete. You can unlock a level of potential that you might have missed otherwise. So that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Is this the future of how we evaluate talent? In a world where every tiny advantage matters, maybe the real question for coaches and athletic directors is this: can you really afford not to know who your athletes are on a deeper level? Especially when they might choose another program that took the time to understand them better.